Hello, I'm Debbie, and thank you so much for spending some time with me today. When I was growing up, we were taught that while there were negative aspects to American history and actions, our country overall tried to learn from mistakes and develop a better political, economic, and social environment and opportunity for all Americans. When I taught my own social studies classes, I emphasized these same concepts: where we have been, where we are now, and where we want to go as a nation. When John Kennedy was inaugurated as president, he famously stated, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." The idea that by working together, we are able to make improvements and advancements. By working with our communities, we are able to help each other. When there were military interventions that our politicians wanted to enter, now remember, only Congress can declare war, and due to the War Powers Resolution, the president is accountable to Congress when sending military forces overseas. Americans supported some military interventions and opposed others, but when it was deemed vital, Americans volunteered or were drafted into service. But over the years, there has been a shift in perspective by many Americans. Indeed, instead of asking ourselves how to improve our country for all Americans, many are demanding that America change to suit their own individual goals. We see activist groups protest, vandalize, and attempt to cancel those with whom they disagree in order to achieve something for their group, not for their nation and all who live within it. On various social media sites, there have been posts about people being harassed for wearing patriotic clothing, and news organizations have carried stories about people being targeted for supporting one political candidate over another. How have we gotten to the point in which we cannot even disagree with others about politics, economics, or social justice? How have we gotten to the point in which people openly violate laws because they interfere with what they want or what they want to do? How have we gotten to the point in which law enforcement is vilified when in actuality, just like any other profession, there are those who truly want to serve and protect and those who want to take advantage? If a person vilified any other legal profession or any other grouping of peoples, that person would be held accountable and perhaps even arrested on criminal charges, including those of hate crimes. I have traveled extensively to other countries and even lived and worked overseas. I have been stopped and questioned by law enforcement as well as airport security in more than one country. Yet I never started hating those people or countries. I have seen extreme poverty around the world that most Americans cannot even imagine in Asia, Eastern Europe during the communist era, and Latin America. Although there are many countries and cities in which I would like to live, I am always glad to return to the US, as I have observed how fortunate and blessed we are when compared to the majority of the world. So, why is there so much visible hate being demonstrated against our own nation and our own citizens? Is it due to a sense of entitlement that is unearned? I remember back in the 1980s when California school districts first started placing an emphasis on self esteem, praising students for really nothing. That was then followed by everyone gets a trophy, followed by nobody wins, nobody loses. I've had students tell me they deserved high grades just for being nice. Of course, I explained how appreciative I was for their niceness and kindnesses, but that wasn't quite how my classroom worked. Starting in the 1990s, businesses began reporting that younger hires were more likely to be late or not show up at all, demand promotions and raises within a couple of months, and complain about workloads. This led to the introduction of various school to work initiatives, hoping to change these patterns. We can make a connection between those trends and some of the entitlement demands that we are currently seeing. Now, I want to be clear. Not all young adults have or had a sense of entitlement. And I will also gladly declare that my own students, for the most part, demonstrated their willingness to work hard as well as good character and personal integrity. But the big questions are, why do we see ourselves as divided instead of united? What would it take to restore relationships amongst those with whom one disagrees? What would it take to work together for the betterment of all instead of the betterment of just the few? What would it take for some individuals to look beyond their own selves and towards others? I don't know. I never profess to have all the answers, but I do know that division and hatred will not only undermine each other, but an entire country as well. Scripture emphasizes the concept of working together. Ecclesiastes 4:9 through 12 states, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their work. If one falls down, his friends can help him up. But pity the man who falls and has no one to help him up. Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of three strands is not quickly broken." So let us resolve to unify and work together to try to soften some of the bitterness and hatred that seems to be growing around us. I hope you have a good week, free of conflict and full of good hope and blessings. Again, thank you so much for spending some time with me.